just 9 months, up to 3 million Bengalis were killed, and only one man is responsible for that, Yahya Khan. In East Pakistan, the population had done something that should be taken for granted in a democracy. They had voted. The Awami League won the election by a clear majority, which would have meant that political power shifted from West Pakistan to East Pakistan. But for the military regime under Yahya Khan, this was unthinkable. Transferring power to the east was not an option for him. It would have meant a loss of control, a loss of dominance, and the end of his political supremacy. Instead of accepting the election result, Yahya Khan made a decision that would change history. Democracy was stopped by force. Behind this decision was not only a desire for power but also deep fear. Pakistan was a state held together artificially. East and West Pakistan were separated by thousands of kilometers and differed greatly in political, linguistic, and cultural terms. For Yahya Khan, any form of autonomy was seen as a threat, not as a democratic compromise, but as the first step toward the disintegration of the state. From his perspective, violence appeared to be a means of holding Pakistan together. Yet it was precisely this violence that achieved the opposite. It accelerated the separation and pushed East Pakistan inevitably toward independence. The genocide occurred because he did not think politically, but militarily. Protests, strikes, and election results were not understood as expressions of social conflict, but as hostile rebellion. Political decision-making was replaced by military logic, and from this mindset emerged the infamous Operation Searchlight. What was described as a law and order operation was in reality a campaign of systematic repression. Civilians were no longer seen as citizens, but as enemies. Entire cities, universities, and residential neighborhoods were declared military targets. A central element of this strategy was deliberate intimidation through terror. Intellectuals, students, professors, journalists, and political activists were deliberately persecuted and murdered. Society was decapitated without regard for human life, while sexual violence was used on a massive scale. Rape was not a random byproduct of war, but a deliberately employed instrument. The goal was clear: to instill fear, destroy communities, and make any form of resistance impossible. Terror was not a side effect. It was part of the strategy. All of this was ideologically prepared under Yahya Khan. Bengalis were portrayed, in his perception and that of many military leaders, as disloyal, weak, and inferior. This dehumanization made extreme violence possible in the first place. When people are no longer regarded as equal human beings, it becomes easier to strip them of rights, persecute them, and ultimately destroy them. This pattern is evident in many genocides. Violence does not begin with weapons, but with degradation. Words pave the way for actions. Thus, a political conflict became a crime against humanity. What began as an attempt to secure power and hold a state together ended in massive violence, hundreds of thousands of deaths, and the birth of a new nation. The events of 1971 show how quickly democracy can turn into terror, when power matters more than human life.